William Shakespeare famously said, "Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown." It couldn't be more prophetic for Pakistan's 22nd Prime Minister Imran Khan as he completes 2 years in office. We take a look at his tenure that's been marked by few hits and innumerable misses. He began his tenure with a fumble while taking oath as the Prime Minister of Pakistan. 2 years down the line, Imran Khan is still fumbling, not just with speech, but his governance and foreign policy. Khan has been one of Pakistan's biggest icons, a talismanic captain who led them to their greatest sporting achievement when he entered politics. His idealism truly inspired many to dream of a Naya Pakistan as promised, a new Pakistan. Unfortunately, once he took over, his Naya Pakistan seems to be a lot of old Pakistan, only much worse. Khan began his tenure in August 2018, speaking of austerity, famously putting up luxury government vehicles and even 8 buffaloes kept by the ex-Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif up for auction. The former cricketer, who had in the past declared that he would rather die than go with a begging bowl to the IMF, has spent the better part of the last 2 years asking for global help, securing bailouts and asking for debts to be waived off. Despite the economic crisis worsening under his watch even before the pandemic struck, Pakistan's GDP growth has fallen from over 5% in 2018 to a projected 0.5% in 2020. Inflation is near the double-digit mark. Its currency has depreciated almost 35% against the dollar. And even after securing a $6 billion IMF payout in 2019, it turned to IMF again to take $1.4 billion to meet its balance of payments crisis. Even as his country has been spiraling from one economic crisis to another, a feature of Imran Khan's tenure has been marked by an obsession to internationalize the Kashmir issue. Ever since India revoked the special status of Jammu and Kashmir last year, Imran Khan went into a meltdown and hasn't fully recovered yet. He has tried it all. His entire address at the UNGA last year was about Kashmir and the threat of nuclear war. Despite Iron Brother China's backing, Pakistan failed when it comes to garnering global support. It could not get the UN Security Council to pass a resolution against India. The biggest failure of Imran's Kashmir-centric diplomacy is the inability to bring even the Islamic world to stand with him. Even many of the OIC nations have refused to back the leader's claims on Kashmir, and then Imran Khan's government shot itself in the foot, the last straw being his government's spectacular diplomatic failure in threatening to split the OIC over Saudi Arabia's non-action on Kashmir, resulting in Saudi Arabia calling in its loan given to Pakistan last year to tide over the economic crisis. Imran Khan's government eventually resorted to rather juvenile act of publishing a new map claiming the entire Kashmir Valley in a move which India described as ridiculous. A lot of Pakistan's international failures stem from a credibility crisis on the domestic front. Prime Minister Imran Khan has failed to act decisively against terror and provided cover to terror groups. US State Department also brought out a report on terrorism in June that continues to designate Pakistan as a safe harbor for regionally focused terrorist outfits. It continues to remain on the FATF's grey list, and despite Imran Khan government's claims of passing 2 anti-terror legislations to meet the FATF criteria, Imran Khan labeling Osama bin Laden a martyr on the floor of the parliament in June clearly shows where the leader's inclinations actually lie.